Hello, and thank you for considering Cannon Trading as your futures and futures option trading destination. My name is John, and I'm going to show you a few quick tricks and tips on two subject areas, the account summary and where to find margin information on particular positions. So let's log in here first. This is probably a familiar site to you, and this may be where you are in the process of logging into your platform. And let's go ahead and put a good password in here. You can see down in the bottom left-hand corner, we're connecting. And we do have some existing positions in here and some existing activity. We've got net positions right here in the positions area. We've got 0 mini S&P, 0 mini NASDAQ, and we have 1 S&P option in here. We'll click over to the account summary, and you can see that there's an open P&L of a negative 1250, a realized P&L of a negative 1140, and the total P&L is a combination of both of these, realized and unrealized, which is the open P&L. Over here on the right-hand side is your bar where you can slide up and down to take a look at a number of the different categories over here that we have. And it's important to have the initial margin requirement, maintenance requirement for the position. Right now we have a long option on there, and there's the CME charges a small margin for long options. We also have here's the net option valuation over here. One thing, this is a Windows-based program, so you can left click over here and do column setups. I don't know if you can see this right here, and we can put a number of different categories in here that we'd like to see. These aren't all inclusive. Here are the risk values, here are the option values. If we'd like to do short options, we can move these over here, short option value. Let's take a look up here. We can go the balance, the cash, we've got those up there, futures P&L. Let's go percentage, and we're going to add that over there. We're going to add rate over here. We're going to click OK, and now as you can see, we've got all the available categories that are important to making our trading decisions and managing our account. Let's go back to the position tab down here. These are the positions that we had today. These are the levels of activity that we had. We bought and sold 3 of the June mini S&Ps, and we bought and sold 1 of the June mini NASDAQ. Here we can take a look at the completed orders, and you can see the time that these orders were entered, the time that they filled, and of course the completed time is always going to be nanoseconds beyond the fill time here. You can also see orders that were not filled or executed, and those are typically going to be canceled orders. And because these orders were either OCO order right here or OSO order here, one leg of the strategy was executed, and that's what we see here in the form of completed, and the other leg of the strategy was canceled, and that's why we have no working orders left, as you can see when we click on this tab over here. Quickly, let's take a look at margin and a number of different ways that we can find margin. If you want to know what the overnight margin is for any particular product, there are at least 3 ways to find this on the platform. First one would be, let's just go into to add under the symbol lookup, and we'll find out what the margin is for, let's say, the crude oil. So the symbol for crude oil on this particular platform is G for Globex, CL for crude oil, and then the month and the year. And let's go to the May contract over here. And up over here you can see the contract specifications, all the detail you need to know about this particular product. We got crude oil, it's an energy contract, it's 1,000 units. We got a tick size of 1 penny. Get the initial margin requirement of 22.82, and don't hesitate, you can always pull this out to read the rest of the type of information that you're receiving here. The times, the start time and the stop time, and that's a local time. It reads the time on your computer. That's method number one. Method number two, go up to help. You can go to contract. You can see trading hours, contract margins, contract specs. Let's go to contract margins. That's going to open up a web browser, and it's going to drive you into our E-Futures International domain. And right at the top, you can see the monthly symbols. Should you need those, we can also go into the futures, options, or spreads. And if we go into futures over here, we take a look at the currency tab. You can see that the Australian dollar day trade margin is 687.5. The overnight initial margin is 1375. Let's go into some other tabs here. Energies. Let's take a look at crude oil. Trade at the NYMEX. You can see the symbol we just looked up, GCL. The overnight margin requirement is 2310. The day trade margin on this particular platform is $1,000. And you can go search whatever commodity you'll be trading, and the information will be here on this web page. Again, that was by accessing help on your trading platform. You can do the same thing to find contract specs. The web page is going to look very similar. And again, it starts with currencies. You can click these tabs here: energies, financials, grains, indices, meats, metals, and softs. And here are the grains. As you can see, gives you the months that are traded in corn. Here's the symbol. The exchange is Chicago Board of Trade. The size is 5,000 bushels. The months, HKNUZ, and the value of a tick over here. We've also got other products that are traded over in the Eurozone. And we've got ICE as well, in addition to some of the domestic exchanges. Let's cancel that. And the third way to find your margin is to go up to trading, and we can do a hypothetical margin calculator. And there's all sorts of good stuff we can do in here. We can put spreads in there. We can put short options in here. We can put 7 different futures contracts in here and find out what the aggregate initial overnight margin requirement would be. You can copy from existing open positions that you have, paste them on here intraday, and find out what your overnight margin is going to be. It's a very handy tool. First, we start by adding up here by hitting a plus sign, and let's add the ESM8. And there's the June mini S&P right there. And you can see it's been enabled. There's the contract, and the net is 1. That's a positive 1, not a negative 1, so that means we're long. Let's add another contract, and let's make it the NQ, the mini NASDAQ 100, and we're going to add the June 2018 contract as well. Would help if it wasn't NG, but it was NQ. There we go, NQM8, and we click OK. And here it is. We've got a long, and we've got a long. So if I want to calculate, this little icon right here is a picture of a calculator. You can see that it also pops up. We calculate, and we see the overnight margin, which is the initial risk, is $12,760 if we are going to have one contract of each one of these products overnight. That's the overnight margin requirement. If we were going to spread, and we're going to make this a negative, and we're going to be to spread off your risk going into the weekend. It's not a perfect spread, but the markets do tend to work together. But not today. Right now, we've got the mini NASDAQ up 35 currently, and we've got the mini S&P down 2 3/4. But the spread is recognized. Let's calculate again. And we'll see that the initial risk drops all the way down to 3,190, which is about 50% of the overnight margin for one of these. So that's a quick explanation of the hypothetical margin calculator. Don't hesitate to call your broker, your representative here at Cannon Trading, for any clarity on these quick tips. And we look forward to doing business with you. You make it a great day. Thanks again for visiting Cannon Trading and our E-Futures International Trading platform.